going on, everybody? Welcome back to another amazing episode of the Viall Files. I am your host, Nick, and we are joined by the amazing trio of Chrissy, Amanda, and Allie. How are you ladies doing?
Good. Oh, our mic's working. Good.
Great.
Doing well. Doing well.
Great. Anything new?
Remember the guy that I was asking about last time we didn't ask Nick? That I was like,
Remind
he
me.
hasn't reached out. And you were like, neither have you.
Yeah.
Everything you're saying about him.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right. I remember now.
So I decided to text him, I think like Thursday of last week, just being like, how's your week going? And it was like a little back and forth, just like catching up, but then nothing beyond that. My roommate, the wing woman that she is, like arranged for us all to go to her mom's pool yesterday. So it was literally my roommate, my roommate's brother, this dude, and myself.
Okay.
And the whole thing was so confusing.
He showed up?
Mm-hmm. He came by himself. She invited all of his roommates, but he like just came alone.
After he ignored your text?
He didn't ignore it, but like he didn't really like we had a few texts back and forth, but I hadn't heard from him in a few days.
Okay.
I had a fun time, but like he's not really great at like asking questions or like really like again continuing the conversation. And then I felt like there was moments where like he could have like spent time with me one-on-one, but he like didn't.
Yeah, so it sounds like he's just not into it.
Exactly. But then the confusing thing was at that point I was like, I'm gonna go home and drink a bottle of Barefoot alone. Fuck this. And then as we're leaving, I'm getting in my roommate's car and I like just assumed I wouldn't even say goodbye to him because I was like, clearly this is not going anywhere. And he comes up, he like gives me this big hug, looks at me in kind of like a winky kind of look and is like, see you soon. And I'm like, that's so frustrating to me because you don't get to like say see
What
you
did
soon.
you say?
I was like, and got in the car. Like I was like, this is so frustrating. You don't get to basically.
But why didn't you like seize the moment?
Because it was in front of my roommate and her brother. Like it was just like a weird. I wasn't gonna be like, that's confusing. So I feel like I'm just gonna let it die and not hope for anything.
Would have been that hard to be like, what do you mean?
I don't know. It just was like we were all leaving. I didn't want to make it a big deal, but I was just like, just commit to one side or the other. Don't give me this like I'm gonna be super nice and super like telling you I'm gonna see you again when I could have made a move or could have put more effort into this and didn't.
Yeah, I don't think he's totally into it.
Exactly. So then I'm like, don't lie. Just say bye. Like we don't need to hug and say see you soon.
Well, maybe he'll see you soon.
Ugh.
Maybe he's thinking that. I don't.
I'm just like balls so in his court at this point. Like I asked him out to begin with.
Well, that's the important
had the
part.
text
You're
yesterday.
right. You reached
Bye.
out. Good for you. Good to do that.
Yeah.
She tried to set up. Ball is in fact in his court, and even if he does reach out, it would be appropriate for you to be like, all right, what exactly
are we doing?
Well, not what we're doing, but like, I would just call him out at that point. But like, it doesn't seem like, no, that's cool. But like, do you like, I mean, you seem very kind of flippant about this kind of like hang out thing and see where it goes. But yeah, I wouldn't.
So I suppose I'll just forget about him.
Well, good for you for reaching out.
Thanks.
Next time, that would have been a great opportunity to be like, well, what do you mean? Then I think it's fine that your roommate was there to just simply say, what do you mean? I wouldn't have like yelled at him. What do you Oh, soon. Oh, what do you mean? That's all. Well, I'm still proud of you for.
Thanks, Dad.
Wow. Okay. We have a great episode for you with some great callers. Don't forget to send your questions at asknick@castmedia.com. Oh, I have something I want to actually, I'm glad I remembered. If you listen to this show, which I'm assuming you do because you're listening right now, if you've learned anything from this show, anything, I don't know. Maybe you've learned nothing. Maybe I've ruined your life by taking my advice. Record a quick 5 to 15 second video, selfie style, to say your name and what you've learned by listening to the Viall Files. Make it fun, make it interesting. Email that video to asknick@castmedia.com, cast with a K, and we might share it on our social. So do that if you want. Other than that, we got some great callers and a great week lined up for you. And without further ado, let's get to our callers.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
How's it going?
Good. I'm Hannah. I'm 26.
How can I help, Hannah?
I was just wondering how to get over incidents with my boyfriend. He had cheated on me about 1.5 years ago and just experiencing some anxiety being around the girl he cheated on me with.
So to recap, you're currently dating the guy who cheated on you, and he and the girl he cheated on with is in some way still part of his life.
Correct. She is mutual friends with a lot of people we're friends with, so just frequently in our lives.
Yeah. And when he cheated on you, how did you find out?
I found out from a friend. I'd just been gone on vacation, so it happened when I was gone, and she had told some people, and it got back to me.
Gotcha. And so it's fair to say, or correct me if I'm wrong, that if it weren't for that friend, you may have never found out.
Yes, 100%.
And once you found out, how did you handle that, and how did you decide to stay?
Well, I took the rest of my vacation that I was on and said, I just need this time to think about it, thought about it, came back. I mean, it was a rough year to get through it, but we were able to get through it as far as the relationship standpoint and to build that trust back.
How so?
I think a lot of communication, a lot of what's going on, why did you do it, trying to figure out all of that. The girl was his ex before me, so that was, I think part of it was that he hadn't let go of all of that.
So that you found that to be comforting. That seemed like an excuse you could believe.
Yeah, right. I think that definitely helped. I think to me, believe that it was only her and it wouldn't be other women.
Yeah, I guess. Sure. But it sounds like you're not totally over it.
No, not at all. And I think we've done a lot of work, but it always kind of seems to come back where when she comes back into our lives, just that kind of eats at your heart a little bit.
Yeah. What is he, and I'm assuming you communicate this anxiousness or anxiety you have with him?
I think we generally just try not to talk about it at all anymore.
Okay.
Just because it does tend to spark arguments.
Well, listen, the reality is he made a mistake, right? Then you chose, right or wrong, to try to work on it and get through it. And it's going to take how long it takes to get through it. And you're not yet. And you, unfortunately, you and him don't get to decide to just ignore it because you're over it. You know, it's not necessarily over you, so to speak. You've heard, that phrase,
Right.
And that's kind of the situation you find yourself in. And my guess is part of you, I have no doubt that it took so much energy to get this far, to keep this relationship going for this long after the infidelity, that the thought of recognizing that you may never fully get to a place that you'll be totally over it. And so the idea of ending this relationship probably isn't even on your radar, mostly because of how much work you've put into getting over it. What do you think about that? Is that true? Not true? Am I way off base?
No, I think that's completely true. Like you said, I think I made the decision, right, that I wanted this to work out, that I wanted to be in this relationship, and that I put in the work to try to make it, work. And I do think that my boyfriend and I are in that good place. We've done the work. It's been 1.5 years since it happened. But again, like you said, it is that little part that always comes back up. So. And
when you said you did the work, did you guys get any therapy or professional help, or like, how do you know you did it right?
Yeah, I did get professional help. I saw a therapist for a while. He joined in on a couple of the sessions as well, just to try to get that communication going between us, because I think that was a hard thing to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the immediate problem, like, I don't know what to tell you, because like you said, she's part of the friend group. And I can tell you that however inconvenient it might feel, like you're gonna have to bring this up with him at the risk of him being annoyed or frustrated that you're not over it yet. It'd be really interesting when you do bring it up, how he responds to that, right? does he continue to show grace and an acknowledgement of how he messed up? I could only imagine, like, knowing that you may never have found out about it if it weren't for that friend. This is a sincere question. How have you come, how have you faced that reality, and how have you been able to accept that truth?
I guess for me, it was becoming more comfortable and confident with myself that if he's going to do something like that, I think it really just comes down to trust, right? So trusting that he will not do something like that again, because otherwise, I mean, it could happen again, right? I would never know. So I think it was really just taking a leap of faith to say, this is what I want. I love this man and I want to be in this relationship. So I kind of a blind jump.
But you don't fully trust him. I understand why. Because if you did fully trust him, her being around in any capacity wouldn't affect you.
True.
Right?
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
And that's okay. I'm not trying to, but you don't fully. And I understand. And you may never. I mean, you may want to, you know what I'm saying? You might not get to choose whether you can get over it, so to speak. And I do think it's important to kind of listen to what, your heart or your gut or whatever you want to say is communicating with you. So that's really my biggest advice to you, is to stop ignoring yourself, because it's inconvenient, or you feel like you've already put in all the work. And I don't have the answer of what you necessarily should do. Like, you can't you do have to communicate this with him on some level, because I don't know but like, he did something extreme, and he's just going to have, and that trust might not be fully there for a while. And even if you don't fully, like, it just for your own peace of mind, because we have a way of going down rabbit holes and being our worst enemy. And he is a big reason why you might have these kind of neurotic thoughts about things, even though maybe he's been a fucking rock star ever since. Maybe he's just like always having your best interests in mind, et cetera, et cetera. And if that is the case, then asking him for you two to go out of your way, even if it's inconvenience to the friend group, to remove her from the equation in any form whatsoever, so you don't have to like fucking think about her, see her, or be reminded of it, is not that much to ask. Noom, shavings make a pile. That's right. And meet your fitness goals, whatever they are, with Noom. Noom's cognitive behavioral approach focuses on why instead of what to help you change your relationship with food. Everybody's journey looks different. Noom customizes a program for you based on your personal goals. 80% of Noom users finish the program, and over 60% have stuck with their goals for at least a year. Noom has helped me stay with my fitness goals, and it's only taken me 10 minutes a day to help me keep on track. All you need is 10 minutes a day. Noom fits into your life on your terms. No grueling early mornings or huge chunks out of your day. Start building better habits for healthier long-term results. Sign up for your trial at noom.com/VIAL. That's noom.com/VIALL. Untuck It. Summer is here. That's right. And there's never been a better time to try a shirt from Untuck It, so you can look stylish all while keeping yourself unstuffed. Because you need to let that shirt just air out. It's too warm outside to tuck your shit in. And you still want to look good, not look sloppy. They have high-performance shirts that wick sweat away, too. Also, they have short-sleeve button-downs and polos that are made to beat the heat. Untucked shirts are perfect as we transition back to things that we've been missing, like dinner with friends, reuniting with family, and vacations, too. Shirts for all shapes and sizes up to XXL, large, medium, slim fit, tall fits, relaxed, you name it. They got it. Free returns and exchanges. Use code VIALL for 20% off your first purchase at untuckit.com. Use code VIALL for 20% off your first purchase at untuckit.com. If it is a lot to ask of him, then that would tell you something, where his priorities lie. Then he is still, in some level, prioritizing her. I don't care what he says, and I don't care if he blames it on the group, but it shouldn't be that fucking hard to be like, we should neither of us want to have her be involved. If I'm him, if I somehow cheated on my girlfriend because, oh my God, I don't know what came over me that one night. And yeah, even though I didn't cop up and I got caught, But now I'm so sorry. Now I regret it. I wish I could go back and not do it over and over again. I can't imagine a world where I wouldn't want to go out of my way to not have this remind my girlfriend every other day or whatever, every other week or whatever it is. So like, this should be such an easy ask for you of him, but you're afraid to bring it up for some reason, because my guess is deep down, it's not going to be an easy ask, that he is going to get defensive and try to defend keeping her around. And that's going to bug the shit out of you.
Yeah, I think that is exactly it. I definitely don't think it would be an easy ask. I think it would turn into a little more than that.
But it should be an easy ask. We all agree, right? Everyone in this room, everyone on this call, we all agree that that's a no-brainer. Everyone listening, I think that's an easy ask. Relationships are sacrifices, especially when we have to, we make choices, we make decisions, and sometimes we then have to sacrifice more to make up for certain things. And it's not because it's like a tit for tat thing, but like, I'm worried for you because you're not listening to yourself, and you are putting way too much value on the work that you've put in, and you are afraid to cut your losses. And you may love him, and you may be in a pretty good place relative to the fact that he did cheat on you. But how old are you again?
26.
You're super young. How old is he?
29.
Okay. I mean, his age is really irrelevant to that question. But yeah, I mean, like, have you even considered leaving him?
I have. I guess not for a while, but I think when it had first happened, it was definitely a thought that, again, when I was deciding what to do.
I guess my advice, if you want me to be totally candid, is that I think you really need to start paying really close attention to what you're telling yourself. You know, those voices that are telling you this isn't okay, this isn't right. And instead of trying to convince yourself it's nothing or that you're crazy, you at a minimum need to have, you're in a relationship right now where you're afraid to bring up issues to your boyfriend to avoid conflict. And I don't even care if he didn't cheat on you. That's not healthy. So you are in a somewhat unhealthy relationship. You don't fully trust him, right? These are just truths you need to accept and then do something with the truth. And that truth might be bring it up and see if you can continue to work on it and get through it. But like, the fact that you are afraid to bring up these things is a big deal and something that you shouldn't ignore. It's not going to go away. It's not going to just disappear. The fact that you are avoiding bringing up these conversations with someone will rear its ugly head in the relationship, and it might not even be about her. It will be a pattern, and so you need to, your communication isn't as great as you want it to be. These are like, what's communication if you can't communicate in these times? Like deciding where you guys are going to get dinners, neat. And that's great that you guys can, work through some minor disagreements, but you need to be able to work through this stuff. So
definitely
leave the door open for you to end this relationship. And I'm not telling you have to, but leave that door open. And if you can, throw out whatever investment you've made in this relationship. Don't fall victim to the, sunk cost fallacy of investing more because you've already invested a ton already. That's silly. I get it. We all do it, but it is silly. But create the expectation for yourself that I need to be in a relationship where I trust my partner. And if I don't trust my partner, I have to at least be able to communicate with my partner where the distrust comes from. And it is fair for me to ask of my partner, even at the risk of inconvenience of them, to have them make sacrifices for the relationship and for me. And I shouldn't feel bad about that, especially when they were the cause of those insecurities. And there is no expiration date on your feeling shitty from this breakup. Like, he doesn't get to be like, you get to feel shitty for 6 months and then you need to be over it. to some point, I do agree with the argument that if you're going to forgive someone, at some point you do have to go to a place where you need to accept it or move on. But just because you want to accept it doesn't mean you can. And you need to face that reality too. Step one is telling him something that he should, without question, have no problem doing for you. That's step one. And if he doesn't do that thing, and if he does the thing you think he might do and you're afraid that he will, don't ignore that. And you calmly say, listen, I don't know what to tell you. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you did fuck her while we were dating. And it's crazy and hard for me to have her be in my life. So like, you can't make me feel bad for this ask. And quite frankly, it's a bummer that I even have to.
For sure. Yeah. I do think that makes sense.
So yeah, I mean, I think this is very relatable. It's a tough position you're in because I don't doubt that you do love him, and you probably have so many great things about the relationship, and 90% of it is great. But that 10% that's not okay right now is a big 10% that could grow into something greater. And you do not want to end up and marry someone who you can't communicate some of your insecurities with, who you don't trust, and that you avoid conflict because you're afraid of their answer. That's not someone you want to end up with.
Agreed.
So I would start there. So I'm sorry you're going through this. I know it sucks. It's not like if you want better news, but the only thing you're doing wrong is ignoring yourself.
Yeah, I think that is great advice. We'll try. Again, I feel like it's one of those things that's always easier said than done, but
it is. But I promise
point.
I promise you that you will be better off in the long run if you do this. Like, I don't know what's going to happen in the short run, and it definitely might not go the way you want to right now. But I promise you, I would bet everything I have on the fact that if you listen to yourself and you hold the standards for what you know you deserve, I promise you will be better off. I promise. Like, it might be an inconvenient year or two, but you will be much better. You will be happier in the long run.
Definitely.
So just remember that when you are struggling in the short run. All right?
Yes, will do.
All right. Best of luck.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Wouldn't it be great if there were a pocket-sized guide that helped you sleep, focus, act, be better? There is, and if you have 10 minutes, Headspace can change your life. We're talking about guided meditation. That's right. Mindfulness, daily dose of mindfulness in an easy-to-use app. Meditation is a great exercise to center yourself, get yourself back to neutral. Headspace is helping people do it, again, with an easy-to-use app. So maybe it's starting your day, ending your day. Maybe it's getting your kids to calm down and as a family kind of just collectively unwind and reduce some stress. Maybe you need to improve your sleep, boost some focus. All sorts of benefits that come from guided meditation. Headspace is backed by 25 published studies on its benefits, 600,000 5-star reviews, and over 60 million downloads. Headspace makes it easy for you to build a life-changing meditation practice with mindfulness that works for you on your schedule, anytime, anywhere. You deserve to feel better, and Headspace is a meditation app made simple. Go to headspace.com/VIALL. That's headspace.com/VIALL for a free month trial with access to Headspace's full library of meditation for every situation. That's headspace.com/VIALL. This is the best deal offered right now. Head to headspace.com/VIALL. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Great. What's your name?
My name's Kaylee.
Hi, Kaylee. How can I help?
I am the D.U.F.F. when it comes to my two best friends.
You're the what?
The D.U.F.F., the designated ugly fat friend.
I didn't know there was such a the designated ugly fat friend. Okay. Well, let's see where this goes.
About it.
What?
But they made a whole movie about it. And
what movie?
I don't know. It came out a couple of years ago.
What? I can't hear you. I'm speaking to the mic.
No, it was literally called The D.U.F.F. Like, it was like a teenage film.
It was on Netflix. They promoted it for like 2 weeks straight. Then it lost.
Gotcha. All right. And you've identified yourself as this person?
Yes, I have.
Do your friends identify you as this person?
They don't. They hate me every time I say it.
Okay.
But
anyway, okay. All right, continue.
So I go out with my friends.
Okay.
And one of my best friends is tall and blonde and super skinny, rockin' bod. My other best friend, she's like my height. We're both 5'2", but she's super fit, looks good in anything. And then I wear an outfit similar to theirs. And I look like the mom of the group. And every time we go out somewhere, everyone always comes up to them and saying how beautiful they are. And like, I don't even get acknowledged ever.
How long have you been friends with these ladies?
Couple months.
Okay. Well, how'd you meet?
We work together, actually.
Okay.
Yes.
So you've only been friends for a couple months?
Yes.
Okay. And so what's your question?
My question is, whenever we go out somewhere, like, I'm always the bold one that's always out there dancing, having a good time, drinking, you know, just making the most of the night. But when I'm out and I don't get acknowledged by any sort of male human, is there something I should, like, is there a certain way I should be dressing or a different way I should go about myself? Because it's so awkward when I don't even get looked at.
Okay, well, when you go out and, as you say, drink, dance, and have fun, why are you drinking and dancing and having fun?
That's just like my personality. Like,
Great.
I'm
okay.
Personality.
So if that's what you want to do, then you should do it because you think it's fun, right?
Right.
Now, again, I don't, either. There's no wrong answer. If you do it because like that's my thing, because that's how I get guys because I dance, that's also fine too. But you said, oh well, I go out and I drink and have fun and have a good time, and I'm not getting attention. So like, just be honest with yourself about why you're doing it. And there's no wrong answer, but you should just know the truth, whatever that truth is.
Like, I tried the dating apps. Like, I've tried all of that, but the guys that live in my area, they want a specific type of girl.
I mean, listen, you seem like a very cute girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're being a little hard on yourself. I don't know what your friends look like. If you're telling me your two friends you've known for 2 months are like two bombshells that, modern society considers traditionally super attractive, then sure, yeah, you're going to be hanging out with people who naturally are going to capture more attention than you. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
And so what you need to try to do is figure out, can you be your best self around these people? Quite honestly, I think it is kind of shitty to like, it's really dumb for you to keep doing the thing that you're doing in terms of like, I'm the whatever, D.U.F.F.
Yes, the
Like,
D.U.F.F.
it is like it's not fair to your friends that you call yourself that. It can't make them feel any better. They didn't do anything to like have you call yourself. Clearly you're selling yourself short, and over time they're just going to eventually be like, they're going to decide they don't want to hang out with you anymore because you're going to make them feel bad about themselves for doing nothing.
That makes sense.
That's I don't know when that's going to happen, but it's going to happen if you continue this narrative of being like, oh, I'm the ugly one, haha, poor me. Like, like you need to figure out how you can feel more confident. And maybe that means like not necessarily hanging out with women who make you feel less confident until you are able to hang out with anyone and have and newsflash, there are men who aren't going to like them. There are men who are going to like you and not like you, right?
Right.
Now, maybe because these two friends might be considered more traditionally good looking, they might get attention at first, right? But we're talking about attention at a bar, right? And so if you're in it for attention, if your goal is to go out to a bar and get hit on the most, then you should definitely not hang out with two bombshells, if that's your goal. Now, if your goal is to go out and have fun and do the things that you think are fun, like drink and dance and have a good time, and maybe meet a nice guy that you connect with, well, then you can easily hang out with your friends, not stress about or fixate on all the attention they're getting, and you're definitely going to get hit on. You're a cute girl. Like, you're nice. And if you're out there and you truly are focused on having fun and you're not focused on how much attention they're getting, then people will respond to that energy. But the energy, it sounds like you're giving off, is one of insecurity and maybe you're dancing for attention rather than dancing because it's fun.
I dance because it's fun.
Okay, but like, and I don't doubt that you do in the right circumstances, but right now you're going out there and listen, you're human. It's cramping your style, and maybe you can't tell the difference, or maybe it just looks like it. Either way, you just have to control what you can control,
Right. That makes sense. My ultimate goal is to like get a boyfriend. Like that's what
great.
I do. But it's just a little bit more difficult than I thought it would be. And so that's kind of why I go out to like maybe organically meet someone, because the dating apps haven't worked.
How old are you again?
What was that?
How old are you again?
23.
Okay, so you're young.
Yeah.
Might take a couple of years,
I'm not stressed, but after my last relationship, I've just kind of been looking for something to, like, someone to prove me wrong about all guys, because right now,
what do you mean? Because like you had a toxic ex, and he spoke for all men?
So far, every guy I've been on dates with from dating apps, like, they'll take me to dinner, do all the nice things, and then right before we're about to leave, every single one of them have always asked me, oh, well, do you want to come back to my place and stay the night?
Okay.
I'm like, 3 hours ago.
Okay.
That's not happening. And I've yet to go out with someone who hasn't asked me either to come over at like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, or after dinner being like, oh, well, I bought you dinner, so you should come over and give me what I want.
Do they say that, or do they imply that?
They're implying it.
Okay. Well, so the good news is you're getting attention, you're kind of making my point too. It's just like, these friends that you're going out with, do you think they're interacting with different men?
No, one of them's in a relationship and the other one just got out of one as well, but...
Yeah, and so the one who gets out of a relationship is most likely, when she's out there date, is going to encounter the same type of guys.
Right.
And it's not that all guys are shitty. It's just like, communication, I don't know. And like, yeah, maybe they're looking for the easy hookup. We are in a hookup culture. It's not just men. Women are looking to hook up too on first dates. That's fine. And that's fine that you don't want to. And you just simply say no. Also, like, maybe don't go out to dinner on first dates,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like, just because a guy buys you dinner, you are anyway required to do anything more. But like, it just, it's easier to get to know someone when the expectations are lower, when it's just a more chill cup of coffee or a drink, and, and maybe just limit the built-in expectations. What happens when the guy, just out of curiosity, when a guy's like, hey, do you want to go back to my place and stay over? They're like, they're saying stay over?
Yeah. They're like, well, come back to my place. Like, we can drink some more. And like, if you drink too much, you can just stay the night.
Gotcha. And what do you say?
I literally... every single time I'm like, this is my first day meeting you. I've known you for maybe 3 hours max. Like, what makes you think I'm going to come over and stay the night with you?
What do they say?
They're like, well, I'm not a serial killer. Like, you should know that. I'm like, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm trying to date to find a boyfriend, not date to hook up with you.
Okay.
And I don't think I prefaced that before any of my dates. I kind of just assumed that they would have the respect for me.
Yeah, well, not to assume, but you also know, like, the good news is like, you are weeding these people out. Like, listen, again, you've heard me say it before, but part of dating is like, you just have to, it's like, by definition, you should find a lot more people that you're not interested in than interested in. It's far more dangerous if you're going on all these dates and they're all amazing. Right? That means that you don't have enough of like standards and expectations and things that you're looking for.
Right.
So, the downside is this process can be exhausting. And as far as going out with these two girls, I think you need to work on not comparing yourself to them, and certainly stop calling yourself that around your friends. And it's only going to hurt your friendship again with your friends, and it's only going to make you feel worse about yourself. You're doing that as some sort of self-pity tactic. It's not productive. Nothing good's coming from it.
No.
And trust me, the energy you give off when you do that is one of like less than, and people can sense that type of energy. And then, the separate problem you have is that apparently all these dates you want to go on, the guys, not every date, guys want to take her home. So clearly you're doing something right on the dates. So that should give you confidence that they like you. And just because, and that doesn't mean you have to go, you can be like, oh, well, another one I could have closed, but I didn't want, and he wasn't my guy. Yeah. Are you guys drinking a lot during dinner? Not that that really matters, but I'm just curious.
No, I'll have like one drink. I'm usually a beer drinker, but I'm not going to drink beer on the first date. So I'll get something like fruity and that'll be it. And I'll drink water for the rest of the time just so I can drive home. So I don't get drunk or tipsy or anything like that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Again, I can't speak for all guys. How old are these guys you're going out with?
Oldest guy I've been out with was 28. So like 5 years between my age, 23 and 28.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely there's no doubt that in the dating world today, you're going to run into a lot of guys who aren't, would be more than open to hooking up on the first date. The only note I have for you is when that happens, they don't need a lecture from you. You're not their mom. You just simply say, no, thanks.
Not for me.
Also, yeah, you don't even have to ask them questions like, I barely, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to get really authentic answers. What they're telling you who they are, what they're looking for, and you just say, no, thanks. Yeah.
It's been a while since I've been on one, so
if they ask why, they're like, well, why not? And be like, because I just met you, and I don't. And it's not about you being a serial killer. Like, there's a lot of other things that could go down that I don't want to go down that have nothing to do with you murdering me.
Exactly.
I don't want to get drunk and sleep I like sleeping in my own bed. I don't know. It's that simple. Yeah. Don't get into fights and disagreements with guys that you don't need to waste any more. Like, they've already told you they're not worth your energy, and then you just need to move on. And when it feels exhausting from time to time, just put a pause in the dating. And I still believe there are guys out there, and plenty of guys who aren't going to try that. You just have to weed through them.
Yeah. Like you said, I'm still young, but I just get excited about my future. I've always wanted all those things.
Yeah.
So
You got plenty of time, and don't burn out in the meantime, and set yourself up for feeling less than or disappointed, and stop with the whole pity thing.
Yes.
And you have a lot going for you, so.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right. Well, best of luck.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name is Vanessa, and I'm 36.
How can I help, Vanessa?
So I have been seeing someone for about 5 months. We have had the exclusivity conversation. We are exclusive boyfriend, girlfriend, done all of that. He does tend to be more on the avoidant side, and I'm definitely, I think, more on the anxious side, knowing myself.
We're talking about attachment styles here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, everyone knows their attachment style now.
Yeah.
Everyone's an expert. Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I am a psychologist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Flex.
So there is that.
Okay. Well, no, if you are a psychologist, yeah. No, it's just everyone comes in, and all of a sudden everyone tells me their attachment style. Yeah. And anyways, go ahead.
I would say more than anything, it's just he has a tendency to be hot and cold.
Okay.
Which is more the issue than anything else.
What do you mean by he's hot and cold? Give me an example.
So when we're together, it's great. And we, connect. And I know it's not great because everyone has different texting styles and things like that. But when we're not together, sometimes I just I don't hear from him. I also feel like there has been a little bit of this tendency where.
How long can you go between, are you talking about throughout the day, or if you don't reach out to him, you won't hear from him in a week?
It's always, I get something, but for example, he's traveling right now.
Uh-huh.
He's in between, work. So he had kind of a month and a half off and is out of state. And so this has definitely pushed it into bringing it out a lot, where I will get a text from him like at night, but we're in different time zones, and it's not really a chance to connect.
So he's been gone for like a month and a half?
Yeah, he's going to be. He's only been gone for about a week and a half at this point.
Almost like extended vacation?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's he doing? Where's he going? How long you been together, by the way?
About 5 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where is he going?
He is hiking around. He saw some friends, and now he's just doing some backpacking. So,
and before this vacation, this was still an issue?
I would say, so with his job, the way he describes it is like when he's working, he doesn't have time to text during the day. And again, it's not necessarily about the texting. It's just more for me about feeling like I matter and like still needing some of that connection. And we've had some conversations about it. And I feel like he normally is pretty receptive to it and tries to address it. But then it's almost like back to the being cold again, where I just really don't feel like we're connecting much. And it's even like little things where I'll get a text of like, for example, I was away this weekend. So he was like, I hope you're having fun with your friends, which was nice because he's like giving me space to like have fun with my friends and everything like that. But like that was mostly it. Like there was no like, how are you doing? What's going on? Like we haven't had that conversation basically since he left. There's been no, how's your life going?
So you've been dating this guy for 5 months. You've defined the relationship. You guys are boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yep.
He has a job where he takes a 5-week vacation. He's on a week into that, and right now you guys don't like FaceTime on the regular or just check in and see how each other's day is. He sent you a okay. Well, yeah, that's not great.
It's a problem.
Okay, so then what do we like about this guy?
I love how driven he is. I love,
that's like a quality he has for himself.
Yeah.
Which is nice, but how about how he makes you feel?
When we're together, like I definitely feel like he cares about me, and it does seem to be more of like when we're physically together. It's almost like it feels like out of sight, out of mind. So that's kind of what keeps me in it. And I know I need to have a conversation with him about it, but then part of me is just like, is it just better to just, I don't know, like even part of me. Oh, go ahead.
Well, when he was about to leave for this vacation, were there like any like expectations set of how, like, cause like leaving for 5 weeks is a long time. Yeah. And you guys, not that you want to be like, oh, yeah, you're going to go on this vacation, I need you to talk to me every day. Like, not that you're going to do that, but like a normal thing would be to just, I don't know. It's also, you've only been dating for 5 months. Like there should be still kind of honeymoon phase kind of thing. Right. Was there any thought of him inviting you on this trip, or you couldn't go because it's work, or you can't take 5 weeks off, or?
Yeah, so we did talk about me going and meeting up with him. With my job, I couldn't take that whole time. And then there were some other things that came up that basically made it so that I can't.
Okay. But at least it did get brought up. Did he bring it up? Or?
Yeah. No, he brought it up initially. And then actually like the night before he left, because of like some of these other things that happened, he was like, so it's for sure you're not going to come out, I guess. So well, we haven't really talked about it more.
And it sounds like you're waiting for him to make these conversations happen, or have you tried to FaceTime him or call him to talk and he doesn't answer?
So I called him once when, and he called me back. We talked for like an hour. It almost felt to me like he was like hitting a quota, like of what he thought that I would want to, like if I talk to her for an hour on the phone, then she'll be okay if we don't talk that much the next couple of days. And he was going into seeing his friends from college who he hadn't seen for a while. And so I was a little bit understanding of that, of like, I don't know, when I'm doing something, I don't necessarily want to be on my phone all the time. And if I'm around friends, it's sometimes a little bit like I don't know, like some of it's not as it bothers me that we don't find ways to connect, but I'm also understanding of giving him a little bit of space while he's doing his thing.
How old is he again?
He's 36.
So you guys are both 36. So you're not 22. You're at a point in each other's lives, I'm guessing, that it should naturally be easier to have clear expectations of the things that you want, right? Like, you've been dating for 5 months, which is not a super long time, but it's long enough that two 36-year-olds who date should have a pretty good idea of what each other wants in an exclusive relationship. Like, when you guys define the relationship, what expectations did you guys set of what you guys wanted that relationship to look like?
It was really a lot about like spending time together, doing the things that we both enjoy, and also like supporting each other with our own interests still.
Okay,
so,
but I mean, do you want to get married?
Yes.
Do you want kids?
I don't think I want kids.
Okay, you don't want kids, so you want to get married?
Yep.
Okay, and does he want to get married?
He said he did.
Oh, so okay, so you had that. Does he want to have kids?
No.
Okay. So you, but because
we've had conversations like.
It seems like you're, for someone who's 36 years old dating another 36-year-old for 5 months, there seems like a lot you don't know about basic expectations. Like, you sound like you are dating a guy that you started dating a week before he took a 5-week vacation.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you sound.
Okay.
But you've been dating for 5 months, and that is a good amount of time. Especially for like two 36-year-olds who, you know, are typically at a place in their life where they, you know, I'm assuming you've had other boyfriends and other shit, and you've, you know, ignored your things that you wanted, and now you're 36, and it's just like you've got less time to waste, so to speak. And so, you're just kind of weirdly confused about something. You know, you're not asking enough and maybe you're just guilty of being the cool chick or wanting to be the cool chick. I don't know, and not pressuring them. I don't know what to tell you in terms of like, you called him and it felt like a quota. Like, that could be something he's doing, or maybe you're just projecting what you've already told yourself. Like, maybe he isn't the best communicator. You know, like a lot of guys, I don't love talking on the phone or FaceTiming. Like, when Nally and I started hanging out, we lived in different states, and like, we didn't talk all that much. Like, you know, and we weren't official at that point, but like, I wasn't the best at like, we talked on a regular basis. We talked more than you guys talk, and we weren't even together, but we definitely didn't have like regular, like hour-long conversations. So like I think it's great that you define the relationship, but it seems kind of unclear of how you guys define it or what expectation. Like, it sounds like you guys agreed to not have sex with other people, and that's about it. And you guys enjoyed having something regular in your lives as 36-year-olds. That's as far as I got from the only thing we know for sure, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, and that's been something I've been struggling with too, is like, at this point, is me being confused about it. Like, partially, yes, I haven't asked certain questions. Part of me like realized like that even though we talked about what we want kind of more long term, and that he doesn't want kids, and like marriage is something we're both interested in, that I don't actually know what he considers a good relationship.
Well, that's great that you can admit that.
Yeah. And that I've been like realizing with him gone, of like exactly how you described it, is like, maybe that's all he wants for a girlfriend, is not someone who actually connects with.
Yeah.
And
that's definitely a lot of people like that. And honestly, they have the right to want that, right? You have the right to not want that. But you're two people someone's not being honest. Both of you are probably guilty of not effectively communicating.
Yeah.
You're just hoping the other person figures it out, you know? And there are times where, like, at least in my relationship, she might point something out that she likes that maybe doesn't come naturally to me. When that happens, it's natural for that person to be resistant or defensive, be like, oh, well, I'm not good at it. Like, I'm not good at texting, or I'm not good at planning, or whatever it is. But at some point, you decide in a relationship that it's important to them, and you do it, and you don't make it feel like a chore all the time. You consciously say, I know it's important to this person. I want to make them feel happy. I want them to make them feel like I think guys and women who are in love and happy in a relationship would hate to hear, I'm confused about how you feel about me. I'm confused of your expectations of me. Right? And sometimes in a relationship, we have to say, I'm kind of confused about how you feel about things or your expectations, at the risk of, and he might initially get defensive or disappointed, and, you know, certainly not an ideal time when he's on vacation, but like, fuck, like, if he can't like take a pause in his vacation to make his girlfriend feel confident and comfortable about where she stands with him in the relationship, then he's not capable of being in a relationship that you want, right?
Right.
You're right. He might want something so casual that he just likes having the regular sex. And maybe he's not so sexual that he needs to like sleep with multiple women. He's just like, I got a good thing with a nice girl. She doesn't like ask too much of me. I can go on these trips. It's pretty casual. I like it. And you know what? He has every right to want something like that. You're doing yourself a disservice by not bringing up the things that you want and articulating your expectations, and just feeling confused about what he likes. So you just have to kind of bring it up. You almost have to redefine once again the relationship, because all you really did is agree to stop sleeping with other people before. And then you agree to give yourself a label. But like, not sleeping with each other and giving yourself a label is nice, and it's a good step, but like, there's a lot more expectations that need to be defined in relationships. You know, like, do we go to each other's families during the holidays? How much time do we spend with each other? How do we want this to grow? What do we want this to grow into? You know, do we want to get married someday? Do we want to have kids someday? You know, there's all these things. You know, it doesn't just stop when you agree to stop sleeping with other people and give each other labels.
So knowing that any conversation that we have had that I have felt like has brought us closer and has been one of those more real conversations, he definitely does better in person. Like, it will be the type of thing where like we might talk about it briefly on the phone, and then the next time we see each other, it's a long conversation in person.
Sure.
Really kind of talking about some of those things. I've been a little bit stuck even right now with him away because that's not an option. So yeah, like, do I wait till
no, because
5
like
weeks?
He might be better at in-person conversations, but I hope you're not okay with dating someone who's incapable of having conversations that might happen at a slightly inconvenient time.
Right.
He still has FaceTime. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a pretty good form of communication. It's not as good as in person, but you are looking at each other. And again, if he is not willing or able to like carve out some time on his vacation for his girlfriend for something like this, then this is not a guy who really wants expectations of himself in a relationship.
Right.
And again, it might be something, you know, before you say we need to talk, why don't you just like reach out to him more and see how he can handle that? Be like, I like talking to you. Like, I'd love to, you know, he shouldn't need a vacation from his girlfriend 5 months in.
Right.
And if
I agree,
if it's such a burden to talk to you for even like to check in and see how it's going, how was your day, babe? What, you know, like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
So reach out to him more, see how he responds. Stop telling try to get out of your head if you can about already like telling yourself how, and then like, yeah, it's okay to ask. You've been dating this guy for 5 months. It's okay to say, I miss you. It's okay for him to miss you back.
Yeah.
I mean, you're really selling yourself short when it comes to like expectations you're getting out of this relationship. Just, I don't know. It doesn't sound like, again, it sounds a lot like someone you met a week ago who just said, I like you, but I'm about to go on a 5-week vacation, but we can still talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's kind of the realization I've been coming to too, that it's not as much as I felt like it was when he was here.
Yeah. Well, part of it is coming down to like not being afraid to set expectations. Stop assuming that expectations will work themselves out. Everyone has so many different expectations of a relationship and how much time you spend to each other and the affection that you give to one another and the love languages you guys respond to. And again, marriage, kids, everyone's different. Mm-hmm. And if you do want to get married, how traditional do you want it to be? Who do you want to be involved? If you do want to have kids, how many kids do you want? Like, these are all like, family vacations, like, holidays. Like, these are things couples talk about. And as you grow and connect and like you keep defining these expectations, and you're just like, I just like saying I have a boyfriend.
I didn't really think of it like that, but
I mean, I think you want more. We're not sure if he just likes saying he has a girlfriend, but either way, neither of you are trying to define any real expectations.
Yeah.
And boundaries. And so now you're just sitting here wondering, well, I mean, I guess like just assume he's not fucking other girls because he's my boyfriend, and sure doesn't feel like my boyfriend.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
What do you have to lose at this point?
I mean, that's kind of the spot I've been at anyway. Like, for the last week, I've even, like, I know it's always the kiss of death, like actually typing out in my notes app.
Sure. But I can guarantee you that, like, if this guy is worth having in your life, and if he wants to be in your life, trying to address this, at least on some level, to get some clarity and have him say, babe, oh my God, I did not realize you know what, I've been caught up in my head and I've been looking for the, I do want you to know I really like us, and I'm into you. I'm super into you. Yeah, I'm not the best communicator, but like, thank you for letting me know. Let's talk more. I want you. I miss you. I miss you, by the way. Like, if he might do that, and he should do that. And if he doesn't do that, then you should ask yourself, why am I dating this guy?
Right. Okay.
And just because you're afraid he might not say that is not reason not to bring it up.
Yes.
Okay.
That's something I always have to remind myself. So thank you.
All right. Best of luck.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. How's it going?
Hi, my name is Emily. I'm 25.
Hi, Emily. How can I help?
Yeah, so way back in November, me and my 5-year ex broke up because we had a lot of complications and cheating. And then I was in the process of moving on. And in January of this year, my high school crush DM'd me. And then we started like the regular dating thing, and things were good when we started. And then we just turned out to be official. And then a few months after, we turned out.
Wait, what do you mean? You woke up and like you had a T-shirt that said "property of" or something? Like, how did that? What do you mean?
No, so I was in the process of moving on, healing and stuff, and then my high school crush just DM'd me, and then.
No, I get that, but how did you end up all of a sudden being official?
Well, he asked me like, "Can you be my girlfriend?"
Okay.
And stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So we actually like did I don't know if there's a term for proper.
We started dating, and he tried to define the relationship, and you said, "Great."
Yeah, because we were really good at the talking stage. So like, okay, no red flags, no cheating. He had histories of cheating, and I had, so we might be clicked. And we clicked.
When you say history of cheating, you mean you both were cheated on by your exes?
We got cheated on.
Okay.
By our exes, like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And then, and then after we made it official, that's where complications came in. We didn't know we had our ex's baggage. We had traumas that in our past that we probably need to fix, especially me, because I just got out from a 5-year relationship. I thought I can heal at the same time, have a person to be with. Because I had friends that they just got out from a very toxic relationship, and then they just jump on another one. And things turned out great. I've been asking about my friends too that had the same issues, that they got cheated on, and then a new person comes in, and then up until now they're still together and things were healthy, things were good. So I was like, okay, why not? I should try. And then it turned out the opposite way for me. There were like ex baggage, traumas that brought up, and we've been asking about our exes for some reason, and then it
to
turned
each
out
other.
really and then turned out really toxic, fighting over little things, jealousy, all that, insecurities and stuff, instead of us communicating and we had like a really bad communicating issues. So after that, we just had to like, okay, you know what? Let's just call it off. I don't think this is going to work. We just have to, I think we have to heal first before we get to continue this relationship. And then.
So you broke up?
We broke up.
Okay.
It was around April.
Okay.
And so we straight up not talking for a month and a half. So we really cut off our communication. And then a month, like almost 2 months, we started talking again. So we started to catch up. We're like, okay, we'll just see each other, probably be friends, and probably pick up where we left off. So we did. We had some few hangouts. We talked about where we left off and how we broke up and how we had some issues in the past. And we were like kind of like still love bombing. And we were just like, and he was just like, and I saw how he regretted it. And
who broke up with who?
I broke, because we came from a vacation. And then that vacation was just like, I don't know, it's just like, it was a downfall because we had an argument in that vacation too. It started, and then we came back from here at home. We're just like, I don't think this can be fixed anymore, because prior to vacation we had a lot of issues and we've been like arguing and yelling to each other.
You said this to him?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was like, I don't think I can still go on further with this. I have to
move
move on.
So what do you mean by you sense that he was regretting things? Because that implied, you made it seem like maybe he was regretting breaking up with you, but you broke up with him.
Yeah. And because our past issues, it involved with opposite sex friends, because I have a lot of guys, not a lot, but like in a group of friends, there's only 4 of us girls and the rest are guys, but we've been friends since we were 19. Mm-hmm. So, and then there was this one guy that because back in our talking stage, he was like, so you have a guy friend? So I was like, yeah. And he was like asking have I ever thought of getting into one of them? And I was just like, probably on the other side of the universe, if he's single and blah, 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 I would.
What's that mean?
I would consider him.
So wait. The guy you were dating who's been cheated on asked you, like these guy friends you have, like, would you ever or consider in any context whatsoever to possibly date them? And you were like, maybe, yeah.
No, not in that way, but like if we're not guy friends, if I'm not like friends with it.
Just so you're clear, any answer other than absolutely not, no way, they're like my brother, is like, it doesn't matter how you said it. Short of that, what were you expecting? I mean, be totally honest. Like I'm not a jealous guy. I'm not. But I'm realistic, right? And if I asked my girlfriend, I'm like, hey, these guys that you're friends with, like, if my insecurity crept up and I was compelled to like ask him a question about like, what, like, is there in any way would you ever consider anything with them whatsoever, short of her being like, absolutely not, like, that answer would bother. Well, what do you mean? Mm-hmm. You know? So like, and my question to you is, what do you mean? Like, what? Because it sounds like there sounds like I've had an idea of what they could or should do, and if they did this, and they probably won't, but if they did, then yeah, maybe I would. So like, what if they do? So like that, if just so you know, that feels like to a guy, he's always going to assume that guy will figure it out at some point. And the point, and that's not even the real point. The point is, there's a thought of like, in a perfect world, that's what you would want. I mean, especially if you're wasting the energy to fantasize about some scenario that you yourself don't even think is going to happen, that implies that you've given it some serious thought. and you're investing a lot of your energy in kind of alone time.
I had thoughts about it.
Okay. Either way. I mean, again, I'm not
Okay.
like, that's okay that you thought that, and good for you for being
Yeah.
honest, and you're allowed to think those things, but I'm just trying to provide just, I don't know what kind of a reaction you expected. I mean, he certainly doesn't have a right to do anything toxic, but he certainly has the right to be upset.
Yeah. Yeah, I understood the part where he was upset, and I reassured him after I saw his reaction. Like, time after that, I was like, I tried to cut off my guy friends, not really cut off, but like less hang out with them to make him feel reassured that I don't have anything with my guy friends, especially to that specific guy, that I'm fine and I don't have any intentions with him. And I just really want to work things between us before. And I understood where there will be times where he was like, he gets so paranoid and he overthinks a lot. I got that, which I gave him a lot of reassurances about it.
Well, I'll be honest. I don't know what you said to reassure him, but I don't know if he's ever.
To what extent?
Yeah, I mean, like, good for you for being honest. Like, you have that going for you. You're like, I'll tell you anything. Even guys that there's a world where I would totally want to be with my friend who, by the way, we're gonna go hang out with. It's just hard. How old is this guy?
2030.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so what's your question? Where are you at now? What's your situation?
So we broke up and then we got back together now. We're trying to get together, and then this is where the complication starts. Well,
I mean, it's already started, but
so 2 weeks ago, my best friend had a party and my 5-year ex came, and then I don't know. Okay, and then we kissed. And
so you cheated on your now boyfriend?
No, because we broke up. We broke up, right? Like my recent ex, we broke up, and then we're trying to get back things together. We're testing waters, see how we build foundation from our previous issues.
Listen, you're creating just a giant mess, and you are operating in a sea full of semantics. And I mean, you could probably make an argument that your behavior, if 5 years from now someone asks you, have you ever cheated on someone? You could say, I haven't, and technically it's true. Yeah. But that whether you've defined the relationship again with this guy that you already had defined the relationship with, and this is about you guys started dating right after you broke up with your 5-year ex, so there's already going to be an insecurity, and rightfully so. Have either of you processed this breakup enough to not have to avoid the baggage that naturally comes with the breakup, and give yourselves fully to each other and try to build this relationship, right? So that your ex was already in the picture. Then you guys stop talking, and then you start talking again, and maybe even define the relationship, and then your ex shows up, and the first thing you do is make out with your ex. That's shitty. I mean, you're human. It's fine. But all this really is telling me is is it true that people are capable of working through their own shit while also being in a relationship? Yes, I certainly hope so, because we will always constantly have things to work on, right? There are various degrees of that. No one's ever a finished product. No one's ever you know what? I'm finally going to be the best version of myself. There's no such thing. You constantly should be working on yourself, right? So to be in love, it has to be true that you can work on yourself and be in love. But there are plenty of times, and just because your friends can do it, or it seems like your friends are able to do it, you don't really know if they are, right? It's very easy for someone to want to project how happy they are off the heels of a breakup. And maybe they are, right? And maybe it's a mixed bag of both. The point is, you're not them. And the guy you're dating isn't the guy they're dating. There's a lot of variables that might be different. And you're just saying the only variable you're considering is they broke up with someone, it was toxic, they quickly found something else. But there's so many other variables, how they met, who they dated, et cetera, that play a role in why it might work for them and not work for you. And what's clear to me is that this situation and your situation seems like something you might need to work on alone, right? Because your demonstrating toxic behavior. You're getting in the weeds and justifying your actions. You're not over your ex yet, clearly. There's no justifiable reason why you should have given your ex, who's already cheated on you multiple times over the course of 5 years and proven that not only is he someone capable of making a mistake, he's just a cheater. He's a multiple offender cheater, and he still has all this power over you. All he had to do is show up to a party and you lost all control, and he kind of devalued your character and morals. And like, let's see, you'll be fine. You made a mistake. Like, I'm not trying to beat you up here. But you know, you have to hold yourself accountable. Like, don't make the mistake of, you know, your original ex is maybe a decent guy himself, but what he's able to do is justify these little acts of shitty behavior, and he's not getting called out by it by himself or anyone else. And that turns into some real toxic behavior that he pours on and dumps on you. Right. And that's what you're starting to do, right? By kind of justifying these little things, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. And I decided to like end things first with my recent ex.
Before you made out with the...
No. After I made out with him.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's a start.
Because like, I know like I had the history of getting cheated on, and even if we haven't made it really official again of calling it dating, I know no one deserves that. No one deserves to get cheated on. And I know how it feels to get cheated on. So I'm being accountable of what I did and what it like I'm technically in the process of moving on right now. So my question is, it's hard. It really is hard to start over again. But and there will be days that I will be lonely, feeling lonely. How can I overcome those?
Well, sometimes you don't get to just overcome it in that day. Sometimes you have to be good at you have to get better to learn behavior to get comfortable with being alone, so that every time you feel loneliness or boredom, you don't get so lonely or so uncomfortable that you make choices that aren't healthy for you, right? Like, you actually have to be okay with feeling a little lonely and recognize that it's fine. I think you need to work on being alone. You know, like, again, maybe it worked for some of your friends, but you were in a 5-year relationship. I don't know the details of it, but clearly you compromised the things that you said you wanted and how you wanted to be treated multiple times over and over. Part of that, I'm assuming, was based off of the comfort of just having someone, the comfort of having a boyfriend, and you clearly like having a boyfriend. Like, you clearly like having someone. And so this comfortable person from your past, this high school crush, reached out, and you're like, perfect, I'm already comfortable with you, so let's just like fast track this relationship so I can still have a boyfriend. Right? So again, I don't really care what your friends are doing or how successful or unsuccessful they are, but like, you might not be in a position to date someone while working on the things that you need to work on, because what you need to work on is being comfortable with being alone, right?
Yes.
So if that's the thing you need to work on, then maybe you should, date, go on uncomfortable dates, meet people you don't know that you've never met. Have some first dates that are, some awkward conversations. You don't know how to and it like, maybe the first date ends and you're just like, not my guy. It's okay. And then you meet some new people and you truly also get over the ex, which it would be natural for it to take some time and have some relapses and et cetera, et cetera. But you tried to get over your ex by just saying that you were, and, and it was inevitable that this ex still has a lot of power and control over you. And so that's the problem sometimes of dismissing the work that you need to have on yourself. And it sounds like not too much damage was done, but if you don't work on yourself, right, then you become susceptible to demonstrating toxic behavior and then pushing that onto someone else like you did, right? Like, you ended up if you had to find the relationship, et cetera, you could have really hurt this person and he'll be fine, right? But you know what I'm saying? That's not who you want to be. That's not. No. And you not processing it led to this kind of lack in judgment on your part. So as far as you, you just have to embrace it. You have to be okay with being uncomfortable and feeling lonely. And instead of like going on the dating apps or reaching out back to old flames or hitting up your old ex, you just go out with your girlfriends. And if they have dates going on, you're just like, you know what, tonight I'm going to feel a little bit lonely. I'm going to watch some movie and it'll be fine. I'll wake up tomorrow and tonight I felt lonely. Last night I felt lonely. It's okay. You know,
what about,
doesn't mean you're alone. You're allowed to feel lonely from time to time. That does not mean you are alone.
What about, okay, this is what I'm scared of though. What about, because my recent ex, I have seen him as to be part of my future already, like have kids with him. And that's like the most thing that I found from him compared to my 5-year ex. Because like, even if we were 5 years, I've never seen a future with him compared to my recent one.
Uh-huh.
Since I let him go because I cheated, or I made a mistake. It's just I'm scared that what if he already found somebody else?
He's not your guy. Neither of these guys are your guy. You need to move on. You need to like press the reset button. You're still very young. You're caught up in this like very isolated world, and you have these limited, like you've limited your life in your choices to a very small circle. Like this is not your guy. Nothing about either of these guys suggests that should be your guy. Just because he looks like he might be a good father someday, I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm sure he will be someone's great person. But like clearly, he wasn't yours, and that's okay. And they can be great people without being your guy. And you have to be comfortable and not be so selfish that you can allow him to move on and find happiness, because clearly he wasn't good enough for you to not even make out with your toxic ex. And I think you need to hold yourself accountable for that. Stop romanticizing about the things you like about him. They weren't enough for you to stop doing something shitty in the moment. And if you can't stop doing that, then like he's not that great for you. So and you worrying about if he finds someone else has nothing to do with him. It's just your own fears of feeling and worrying about being alone someday. And you just need to get over that. Like, and again, feeling alone from time to time isn't the same as being alone, or feeling lonely isn't the same as being alone. And how old are you again? 25? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like you're super young. Like you could literally spend an entire year focused on yourself, casually date with no expectations of settling down, just chill out, and then really kind of like be more open to like settling down and still only be 26 with plenty of time. And that might be a much healthier and faster approach than going back and just hanging out with the same people just because you're quote unquote comfortable, and leading to you doing like toxic things because you haven't fully processed your emotions. So you need to be comfortable with feeling lonely sometimes, and you need to be comfortable with feeling bored sometimes without reacting every time you have those urges and feelings.
Yeah, you're right.
And don't be so selfish that just because you meet someone who's nice and a good guy, you know, what are they stopping you from doing? What is this person willing? What are you willing to give up for this person? You weren't willing to give up shit for this person. You just thought maybe he's a nice guy. So if you're not willing to give up shit for him, he's not your guy. Because like it's not about this, you know, he's the one. It's like, what are you willing to give up? You know, and until you're willing to really give up some real basic, simple freedoms, then they're not your guy.
What if, okay, so clearly I admitted my mistakes, and I have been stalking him for the past week, and
you're delightfully honest. I'll give you that.
It made me like it hurts me talking shit about me in social media.
Well,
and, like,
who's talking shit about you?
My recent ex.
Yeah, I mean, he has a right to be mad. He's going about it in an immature way, but like I think you just gotta take one on the chin, so to speak, and don't indulge it. Let him get it out of his system. Like you could say, hey, listen, I know I was wrong. Like I'd rather you not do this, but that's all you can say. I wouldn't do more than that.
Yeah. I have been sorry about it though. I've been
sure. And another example of why he might be a great guy, but that's shitty behavior on his part. Like, why does he need to like, yeah, you hurt him for sure, but like he needs to like blast you on social media? Like, what is that? That's petty and immature. So like, why would you be worried about him finding someone else? That doesn't make sense. You're not really, I mean, you romanticize too much. You're not looking at the actual dirty details and then you compromise the things that you want too much because you're always romanticized about the big picture too much. You need to focus on the day in, the day out things, what you say, what they say, their actions, their choices. And the big picture will work itself out when you figure out your shit on the day to day. So yeah, if he's going out and blasting on social media, you can politely, calmly ask him to stop, but he probably will react in a very kind of reactionary way and try to get you into a fight. And you can just say, listen, all I can do is ask, and I am sorry. And you don't apologize trying to get anything out of it other than him stopping doing that. You have to allow him to move on. It's good that he thinks you're the bad guy right now. In his story, you are the bad guy, and rightfully so. He just maybe could go about it in a slightly better way. But don't get sucked up into his drama, because I think you like drama more than you admit.
Better care less about it and focus about myself now.
Yeah. That's what you should do. Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
And it would be smart to block both these guys again, or mute them at least. You need a fresh start. You need to help you. Like, you have a hard time. Your self-control isn't as good as you think it is or want it to be. Yeah. So help yourself. And that's okay. Like, you're human. So do those things to avoid getting caught up in these situations until you've been able to like figure yourself out. Because right now you're in a very vulnerable state because you haven't allowed yourself to heal, and you're getting caught up in some of this all these toxic things that, quite frankly, you're the only constant in all these stories.
You're right.
All right.
Yeah. I guess, well, that helped me. That helped me big.
Biggest takeaway is just be okay with feeling lonely from time to time, and stop telling yourself you're alone just because you feel lonely.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's really good help.
Okay. You're going to be great.
Thank you.
All right. Best of luck.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening, guys. Can't thank you enough. Don't forget to subscribe, rate us 5 stars. Send your questions to asknick@castmedia.com. Cast with a K. We will see you back tomorrow. Have a great day. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos like our Tuesday Bachelor recaps and Wednesday celebrity and expert interviews. See you next time.